Hey, welcome back. In this session, we're going to discuss about prerequisites to learn Angular. So, if you want to start learning Angular, so what are the prerequisites we need to look into that? So, before we start installing Angular, so it's something which is important and essential topic to discuss here. Some basic knowledge and tools we need to have before we get into this Angular subject. Okay, so some list is like JavaScript basic knowledge is required to start learning Angular because Angular is a TypeScript and TypeScript is comes from JavaScript family. So superset of JavaScript is nothing but Angular TypeScript, right? It's type safe, a strongly type safe program. So wherein you define variables with the proper type, right? So you need to have a basic knowledge of JavaScript. So because AngularJS is built on JavaScript, so having a solid understanding of language is crucial. If you are new to JavaScript, you may want to brush up on a couple of basics in JavaScript. That is the first thing. Second thing is, I think familiar. I think in the with the command line terminal, where is DOS prompt, right? So how to execute commands like node version or npm version or npm install or ng CLI commands. So you need to have awareness on command prompt interface, wherein you just execute the commands. You'll need to work out, right, command line interface in the Windows or the terminal in the Mac OS or Linux. So it is somewhat prerequisite you need to have. So familiarity with the basic commands and navigations is essential to getting started with Angular. Okay. And next one is familiarity with the TypeScript. As I mentioned, it's not actually a mandatory familiarity with the TypeScript, because if you know a JavaScript, it is something a bit easier to learn TypeScript. While not strictly necessary, having basic understanding of TypeScript can be helpful when working with Angular. So another thing is Node.js and npm installation. So Angular requires both Node.js and Node Package Manager npm to be installed on the system. So if you don't have already in your system, you need to install it from the internet. Okay. So let me restore this. Going back to the notes. So right. So some of prerequisites, right? You should be familiar with. Okay. The first one is basic knowledge of JavaScript. Okay. So that means Angular is built, right, on JavaScript. So having a solid understanding of the language is crucial. Okay. So if you are new to JavaScript, then I think it is required to brush, right, upon your skills on JavaScript. Okay, so this is the first kind of prerequisite you need to have. Okay, second prerequisite is, right, command line interface, that is CLI. Okay, or terminal. It is in other operating system. So if you look at DOS command prompt, wherein I think, let me show you, this is something command prompt, right? You need to have some expertise on how to use this command prompt, like dir list, sorry, dir, right? Dir star exe. So dir star txt, right? And copy con to create file, or type and file name to see a file content, right? There are some commands basically comes from DOS, but when it comes to Angular, we need to have awareness on how to use command prompt, like node, right? Version, then it is going to give node version, and then npm, right? Let's give a npm version like this way. And also you need to require to use ng, hyphen v or something NZ hyphen version. Okay, sorry, this is something version. So okay, version. Yeah, here it is. So this is something you need to have expertise on using command line in terminal so that it is very easy for you to create applications in Angular. Okay. So throughout the installation process when using Angular, so you need to work with command line interface. Okay. Throughout, throughout the installation process of Angular, right? And when using, so you will need to work with the command prompt, right? Or command line, command line on Windows, okay, or the terminal, right, on Mac OS, okay. So the next one is familiarity with TypeScript, familiarity with TypeScript, okay. So this is not mandatory and it is optional, okay. So having basic understanding of TypeScript, having basic understanding of TypeScript, TypeScript can be helpful when working with Angular. Hence, it is optional if you are have if you're aware of a basic knowledge of TypeScript that really help you to create websites using Angular in easy manner. If you're not having it, also it's not a problem. You can just start learning Angular. Okay, and fourth one is Node.js and npm. So npm is what? Npm is Node Package Manager. Okay, so you need to understand what npm in this case. Angular requires both Node.js and Node Package Manager to be installed on your system if you want to start Angular. If you don't have already installed on your system, you need to install this Node.js and npm. So Node.js is straight away you can download from internet wherein you just browse it, right? So you can download the latest version, which is having long time support, LTS. Okay. And then you install that Node.js in your system. While installing it, it will ask you to select npm Node Package Manager. And that also get installed as part of Node.js installation. Okay. So as I said, Node.js is something, open source runtime environment for the JavaScript language that reshapes JavaScript characteristics and upgrades its functionality. Okay. So this Node.js was designed to serve real-time performance, pushed back architecture, but since then, Node.js has grown into a virtual or vital element for server-side program. So I think before Node.js, if you wanted to store any data on the database or connected program to the database, you need to support from a server-side language. That's because JavaScript couldn't regulate the backend process. Consequently, you had to learn server-side language like PHP, Python, or C Sharp. Now, using Node.js, it is very easy to you connect to server and process your request. Okay, this Node.js environment imports JavaScript to directly imply the database and function properly as a backend language. So Node.js uses the JavaScript runtime engine as its root power, and it employs right non-blocking IO architecture that's event-driven. All these together construct Node.js and help drive products towards robust performance. So coming to this installation part, right? You need to install Node.js and npm on your machine Okay, as Angular Angular works Angular works with, right? Or this sorry, what say Angular requires. Okay, as Angular requires these both, right? Angular requires these both components installed on your system. Hence, we must have these in the system. Okay, so these are the prerequisites. One is basic understanding of JavaScript. Second thing is command line interface. Third thing is familiarity with the TypeScript. And last one is Node.js and NPM should get installed on your system. Okay. And coming to this requirements, like some system requirements if you want to install it. So what are all system requirements? What are all system requirements to install AngularJS? Uh, First thing is, right, OS Windows 10 or later. Okay, Windows 10, Mac OS 10.10 or later. Okay, and memory is at least 4 GB RAM. Okay, third thing is storage at least 10 GB because it is going to install Node JS models, Angular models. Hence, it requires minimum 10 GB of free disk space. The required requirements ensure that Angular runs smoothly on your system and that you can effectively develop your application and test your application. Okay, so these are the prerequisites and these are the system requirements to install Node.js and NPM before you start creating Angular project. Okay, so thanks for listening to this and please subscribe to this channel for more videos on Angular.